Well, howdy, folks, and welcome to another live stream. We haven't done one of these in a higgity hot minute. I am your Colonial Champion, Sean McCarty, happy to bring to you a fantastic reaction. Just had to take care of something off screen real quick. That might happen a lot on this show. We are watching Diamond Dallas Page versus Goldberg Halloween Havoc 2008. 2008. What am I doing? 1998. It's been a crazy week, ladies and gentlemen, and I am happy to say that my work week is over, which is why we are celebrating with a blinding ray of sunshine right behind me. Look at that sunlight. Stare right there. Stare right there, right into it, directly into it. That is how happy I am. A bright ball of sunlight. That is me watching this show, Diamond Dallas Page versus Goldberg Halloween Havoc 98. This is an 11-minute video for a 10-ish minute match, and it is what's considered to be Goldberg's magnum opus in a lot of ways, at least by a lot of people. And while I don't necessarily think that the show itself was bad, I thought the rest of the show was fine, although that Scott Hall and Kevin Nash match was more angle than match. But this is 98 WCW we're talking about. The thing that, you know what, this is actually bothering me enough to where I'm actually going to move my body and move the whole setup. There we go. So now you can't see that sunlight. That's so much better, isn't it, folks? And you get to see the big White Knux logo behind me, so that's another +2. Anyway, Goldberg at this time, he was white hot. The hottest Goldberg ever was going to get ever. Period, bar none, no discussion. Dallas had maintained an incredible sense of popularity and really had built that from 97 all the way up to 99 and into 2000, and then they turned him into the stalker of the Undertaker's wife and all of that jazz. So thankfully we're not going to get into that right now. We're going to get into that on Monday. And speaking of Monday, on Monday you're going to get a jam-packed show. You're going to get Josh Again's review of Double or Nothing. You're going to get the topic that we have put together today, which is going to be the toll on wrestlers' bodies, both from the physical effects of the ring and otherwise. You are also going to get the match of the week, which is this, which we're about to see, and, of course, an introspective on Diamond Dallas Page and the legacy that he has now in pro wrestling, which is, of course, far more expanding beyond just working with people in the ring. He now works with people who used to work within the ring, making their lives better, and the yoga program and all that. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be great. But a few things have happened between when that show is going to air on Monday and when we recorded the show, Breaking the Fourth Wall, which was yesterday, which is Friday, if you guys are watching this later, Friday the 3rd. And as a result, what that means is that we kind of have to go through a couple things here on the live stream after we watch the match. So stay tuned for this. Now, what I'm going to do this time is I'm actually going to have lines open for those people who might be watching who know me on Facebook. And we're going to have lines open to discuss that news of the week. I hear that my co-host might have a word or two to say. What we're going to talk about, just to brief you in, there's been major AEW championship developments that we have to discuss. And we also have to discuss the something else that I wanted to just bring up that I didn't realize until I heard it on Corny's podcast, and it's kind of depressing. We'll get to that first, but then we'll talk about the AEW World Title and all that. So stay tuned for that here right now. But let's get into this, shall we? Now, if you are watching this on the live stream, you have the link in the description where you can find it for the link to the match, Diamond Dallas Page versus Goldberg. And you also have the link in the chat, as I have already submitted the link into the chat as the Court-Martail podcast, so it should be all there for you, ready to go. So while you're getting that loaded up and getting through the 30-second ad, yes, this is a WWE match as far as who posted it. Yes, there's going to be ads, but it seems to me like you have not really cared for such things. It hasn't really mattered in the course of like how the videos go. So on that basis, I'm going to just keep it going the way that we've got it. So let me bring over the match here, and then we are going to get that ready. We'll switch it to 000. Hopefully all of your ads are done, and you go to 000. And now what I will do is I'm going to do what I did before, where I'm going to wait about 45 seconds to a minute, and we're gonna actually just we'll actually get there. You know what? We'll just go. Yeah, we'll wait 45 seconds or so. We'll recount in once everybody's back. So it is going to be a little more discombobulated this time around than perhaps we have done in videos past. We'll see how it works. The only way I'm going to really know whether things are going well or not is I need you guys to leave comments in the chat. I need you to have the live chat going, fired up, so I can see what you say. And I'm not just talking about Skylar, because I know Skylar's going to comment, but I need other people. I need real, legitimate other people. So if you're watching this program and you have comments, leave those comments while you're liking and sharing and subscribing, and of course hitting that bell button also every time you know that we post, you'll get to know. But without further ado, we are all at 0-0-0. Goldberg, Diamond Dallas Page. I'm going to count you down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. When I point go, click the button. I'm going to do the same, and we're going to get this going. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. And we're starting with the bell. One thing I noticed about WCW is they never really did the 3 dings for the bell. They always did a few more, maybe to begin the match, but not at this point. You don't realize that Goldberg is shorter than Dallas. You know, I never really thought about that until I saw this match, because like everybody seems overpowered compared to Goldberg, at least at this time, and that was the way they were booking him. And you know what I like about this with Dallas? Dallas knows that he has to go hard and fast and try to catch him off guard. And that's why he just kept charging at Goldberg, and Goldberg just pushing it down. But I really do like the way that this match is structured. It's just that Goldberg is really just not that good. This is more of a true exemplification of just how far Diamond Dallas Page had come in professional wrestling. In really a short amount of time, with as old as he was. And, oh, I love that spot where they charge out of the ring. And you notice in this match, there isn't a ton of brawling. You know, it's not a slugfest either. This is mostly just competitive grappling, which I do really like about this match. It's a double babyface match, which is kind of strange, but Dallas was white hot. We also have to remember that this match was missed by the entire pay-per-view audience. And the reason why it was before when it was done that way is because they totally forgot that they had time constraints on the pay-per-view, so nobody got to see this match. I had to show it on the Monday after the Nitro. I had to give away their main event on free TV. Hate to see it. WCW. There's a toss and one of the worst arm bars ever. And it's none of that is in the right spot. Goldberg's legs are behind Dallas's head when they should be across the arm. I did like that double sweep that they did, where Goldberg landed on his feet and then Dallas swept him again. Went for a diamond cutter outside the ring. And the thing I noticed the most about this match is that these guys, 100%, these guys have got a very good sense of timing, where this isn't too long, but they're taking their time to pace it out, which is, at least, and it might be all, honestly, I would imagine it's all Dallas, because Goldberg was white hot, but he was still green as all hell. Greener than grass, as they say. And this is one of the longest matches Goldberg had until his WWE run in 2003. And Tony Schiavone really does not add much of anything to the commentary table. Thank God Bobby Heenan's there to really add to it. And Tenay is great too. I think Tenay and Heenan would have been a really interesting team for the commentary for WCW. But Tony, of course, was the voice, at least at that point. And all of the times through the ropes, not over the ropes. And a nice swinging neck breaker. And Dallas, just everything that Dallas does looks fantastic. You know, and I almost wonder why they didn't have Goldberg. I mean, yeah, he was on TV, and yeah, he was massive as far as his appeal went. But if Dallas was going back to the power plant all the time, why couldn't Goldberg? You know, that's something that I feel like he could have easily done. But now a front face lock. Really nice front face lock. I always liked the front face lock as what people call now a rest hold, even though it is not, in fact, a rest hold. It's just a hold. And that starts to wear him down. I've always liked the front face lock. I like when Christian did it. I like where Dallas is doing it here. It's not something that's used nearly as often as I think it should, truthfully, because it's a very easy thing for, as a heel, you can manipulate where the hand is to like switch the forearm and then make it feel like a choke and then show the referee, no, I'm not doing that. And here comes some ads. We were waiting for it, but here we are. It is 4:51 at the mark, and it is going to be a 15-second unskippable for me. Now, I'm sure that could mean a 6-second unskippable or whatever the case may be, or maybe 2 6-second unskippables for you. Maybe you got lucky and were able to get a 5-second off. But we are at 4:51. We're at 4:51, and we're not going to restart it. We're going to restart it. I'm going to do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go one more time. So if you can get it to 4:51, the image you're seeing is Goldberg is standing up vertically, obviously. Page is down kind of on the lower left, and the referee is in the upper left corner. At 4:51 and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. And now Goldberg doing his best to stay on top of Page, but nothing that Goldberg does looks any good. I mean, the forearm looks good, but is that really just Dallas's selling? And Dallas did a really good job. But now, there's that interesting hip toss. At least that one looked better, but kind of like an over-the-top hip toss. See the sign that says "Getting Oldberg"? Boy, little did that guy know. He did not know how true that statement would end up being. Well, I don't know what the hell kind of cover that was. Goldberg like put a hand on him and hooked one leg. And now just wrenching and then all of this stuff with arm. He rolls through and then has he's bending Dallas's arm the right way. And even Tenay said something. Tanay's like, nah. Oh, man, that's funny. Dallas doing a great job not only of selling and making Goldberg look fantastic, but also making sure his stuff looks good. This is one of the highest, one of the most popular times that Dallas would be. And personally, I thought that Dallas got a lot more. Oh, yeah, that tilt-a-whirl head scissors that Goldberg could not sell, did not sell at all. He landed on his head and he didn't sell it. Goldberg hits the ring post and goes out, and the crowd goes crazy because really in this scenario, Dallas is more over than Goldberg here. And you could hear it by the cheers that were coming up. And, you almost wonder, I think that the bloom in a lot of ways, and this match was probably a part of it, the bloom was coming off the rose of Goldberg this quickly, which is why I'm sure Nash was like, nah, this streak had to end. And then he was like, yeah, I'm going to do it because I've got the book. And the subsequent finger poke of doom and all of that wonderful stuff that you probably already know about. But we'll talk about it another time. Right. And then Goldberg selling the shoulder because he hit it onto the ring post. Goldberg's greatest enemy in wrestling is the ring post. And every time Page lands some offense, the fans are popping. Every time Goldberg does, the fans, they don't boo, but they just stand there. And Dallas taking his sweet time to get Goldberg up, and then that was maybe the best spot of the night. as the hip toss into the DDT. That was and it was also a great angle that was shot at. So you got to see that from a very unique perspective. Yeah, and the crowd, this crowd of Halloween Havoc is more. I think the spear got a big pop, but this crowd is definitely more into Dallas than they are to Goldberg. But the spear always got a pop. Spear always got a pop. And I love that these guys really took their sweet time with this count. And I think there's another count that they take as well that is nearly, I mean, you to want to talk about, it was after Dallas hits this diamond cutter where they really milk how long it takes for both guys to get to their feet. That would have been a really interesting finish too if they decided to go with like a double count. Oh, I'm sorry, we got ads, and it's I will get to that. I got a 5-second I got a skippable one, but we'll wait another minute. We are at 8:51. We are at 8:51, and I'm going to wait just another minute just to kind of get everybody up to speed. But it would have been interesting if they had decided to go for a non-finish here. But I know that they weren't trying to extend this feud, and it wouldn't have been a loss for Goldberg, but it also would have teased the idea that Goldberg can be down for an amount of time, which maybe would have actually helped his appeal, because then it becomes who's it going to be. But more and more people are starting to show that they have a better shot at beating Goldberg than before, that there's actually a shot that this monster can be felt. But instead they went with what they went with, which was fine, and I think we're good now. So at 8:51 is the timestamp. And we're going to do one final countdown in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. And it's taking a second. There we go. Of course, now we're 2 seconds off. That's fine. You're going to see things a little bit more. I am at 8:57, 8:58, 8:59, 9 minutes. And Goldberg trying to go for the jackhammer. But this is actually good shoulder selling here. And the fact that Goldberg actually sold, because he never really had sold like that ever. Not well, at least. But that was a great diamond cutter. And listen to the roof come off that place. That crowd went ballistic. Now everybody's feeling, well, maybe Dallas is going to do this. Is that referee Mickey D, it looks like. Now the cover. They went to 8, 1, 2. And God, I really wish that Goldberg had milked that cover just a little bit more. But the false finish did get a pop. Yeah, just hoisting him up. Goldberg with raw strength hoisting him up. Could barely keep him up, though. And jackhammer, and that's all she wrote. Boy, that was the only thing I can think of is, God, I love this sport. Nothing but insightful commentary from Tony Schiavone. And the crowd was happy. Kinda. They're kind of happy, but at least there was a respect there. At least they did show some sportsmanship, which was appreciated. But, that is nice that they decided to do that. But I don't know if it made and also you got to remember that this is one of the first non-NWO matches that Goldberg has had like in a while as far as main event guys. So you could see why there'd be a mutual respect there. If only they could have gotten to see it on the night that they paid for it. But they didn't. Instead, we got what we got, and that's the end of that. So with that, we are at this live stream portion, and that's Goldberg versus Diamond Dallas Page. Now, what we're going to talk about now is we're going to discuss CM Punk, who came out on Rampage the other day and told us that he had broken his foot and he is not going to be keeping the AEW championship. He's going to be relinquishing it, at least for the time being, until Tony crowns an interim champion on Dynamite. And I am getting called, which must mean our co-host is here. We need to knock at the door. Who is it? I mean, we know who it is, but who is it? He's going to be really silent until I turn him up.
You knew I was going to be here. All you had to do was say the words.
Maybe you knew that you were going to be here.
That too.
But hello, Skylar. Welcome to the live stream.
Thank you for having me.
So, CM Punk. That's the story of the day. So, as we mentioned, Rampage had CM Punk relinquish, at least for the time being, the AEW World Championship. And now we are hearing that Tony is going to crown an interim champion as soon as this week's Dynamite. This coming week, that is.
Well, there's some confusion because CM Punk didn't vacate the belt. Okay, are you ready for this Tony Khan booking?
Yeah, please tell us what's up.
CM Punk is still the champion, but they're going to have an interim champion. They're going to determine this by doing a battle royale on Dynamite to crown a person to face Jon Moxley, and the winner of that becomes the interim AEW World Champion and will defend the interim championship belt against Tanahashi at Forbidden Door.
My head hurts. My response to that is, hello, Artsy Will Creations. It's great to see you here. First of all, can we just talk about how the whole concept of an interim champion is absolutely ridiculously stupid? Unless your champion is going to be out for 9 months, what the fuck is the point?
I mean, the idea would be if you have a good champion like CM Punk, and then you have a challenger who becomes the interim champion and claims, I'm the better champion, Punk's a washout, and all this stuff, and you can build up to a rematch between those two, that'd be fine.
Yeah.
I just don't have faith in AEW to do it.
Well, and also, how long does it take for a broken foot to heal? Like 2 months? If that?
I mean, if they're building up to CM Punk versus the interim champion at the next AEW pay-per-view, which is in what, September or something like that?
Yeah, it's All Out.
Yeah, if they build up to a match between the two champions at All Out, I wouldn't mind it.
Right, but who do you make as champion right now? Danielson? They're not going to push
Maxwell,
Danielson.
Jacob Friedman.
I don't genuinely think that they're going to put that belt on MJF right now. There's no way.
But imagine if he does.
It'd be great. But I don't see. I can't imagine that Punk wouldn't be back by All Out. So why not just have him go out and just cut promos, which is what he's really good at. His promos are better than his wrestling, and his wrestling is really damn good. So why not just have him just come out and cut promos? Give him a goddamn boot. Have Samoa Joe sign his cast and make people speculate.
I mean, ultimately, yeah, but MJF has to be able to walk the walk before he can talk the talk. But imagine if he becomes champion.
Well, I mean, listen.
Then he can shit talk Tony and build to the match against CM Punk.
I get that. As like and for what that could be as far as MJF being the CM Punk of 2011, Punk being Triple H and Tony Khan being Vince McMahon in that situation. Here's my thing, right? MJF aside, because at the end of the day, we don't know what that situation is and how it's unfolding. So we don't know whether we've got an agreement made, even though it kind of looks like it's been because of the promo we cut. But we don't know that. So let's take MJF out of this equation entirely for a second. CM Punk building up to coming back at All Out so he could face somebody of importance is fine. But why not spend that time having Punk cut promos and be his champion and still do the appearances he's scheduled to do and in the interim, instead of crowning a new champion, which I didn't make sense for the TNT title and makes even less sense for an injury like this, to crown a new champion, I just don't think makes any sense. I think at this point, you could have had Punk just ride this out. He is the champion, period. And if he didn't relinquish the title, then what's the point of crowning a new champion? Just to be like, oh, I'm going to give you the belt back. And then it makes it predictable that they're going to run into this clash and confrontation. So it's like, I don't know. I just don't like the concept of this.
Well, the only thing is that we don't know how injured CM Punk is. Like, yeah, he says he has a foot injury. We don't know if there's any other injuries he may have that may force him to be out longer than 3 months.
Well, and if let's say he is out longer than 3 months, then why not just take the title away from him anyway? He can use that when he comes back to gain more momentum. And then you can make, let's say you have MJF back in the fold. Let's say you do make MJF champion. Then Punk can face MJF, and then you've got that kind of dynamic instead of having 2 belts, which is not necessary to do unless you're changing the AEW championship design, which I speculate might be the case here.
But I don't know why you would, because that belt has only literally been around for, 3 years?
Because Tony Khan's got a whole bunch of new belts, and he wants to show them to the world.
Right, but again, who could be the champion? Like, again, I offered the best alternative in NGF. There's Page again?
Yeah, no.
Kenny Omega, if he's healthy?
I think Omega is definitely a strong possibility to win this belt back, to be honest with you. I hope to God you don't put it on Adam Cole. But knowing AEW lately, I don't see them not doing it.
Not to mention, here's the thing. They have to wrestle in the Battle Royale to start the next Dynamite and face Jon Moxley later on in the night.
Yeah, which I don't even want to talk about it. I want to talk about it. You know what? Actually, I do want to talk about it. You know why I want to talk about it? Because the very first, when I was, how old was I? 11? I was 11 years old. I started this wrestling promotion. I've mentioned it a few times, called National Wrestling Entertainment, NWE. And I have the book here somewhere. Actually, I'm going to show it for the fans. Here is the entire NWE binder full of all of the matches and booking that I did from my teenage years. And Skylar, can I read to you the very first pay-per-view that NWE ever had? Because it's going to be really fascinating to hear what the structure for this is.
Sure. Are you going to read it from bottom to top or top to bottom?
I'm going to read you the first match and the last match.
Okay.
The opening match is an NWE Championship Battle Royal where the last 2 participants meet in the main event to crown the NWE champion.
So that's basically the diamond ring thing they've been doing for the last 3 years
Yeah.
in AEW.
But boy, doesn't that sound kind of similar to what Tony's doing with this Battle Royal to fight for the belt later in the night? I was 11, folks. I was 11 when I made that. So first of all, I'm expecting my royalty checks in the mail. And second of all, it goes to prove that Tony Khan books like a goddamn 11-year-old.
He books like a mark.
Yeah. And I am one. This is physical proof that you are seeing of me being a mark. And that is why I have such umbrage with Tony Khan. Because he doesn't have to be like this. It's easy not to be like this. But this is what he does. And this is why not just have a ranking system. Have the number 1 and the number 2 face each other for the belt. You strip it from Punk. Now he has something to chase after when he comes back. This is not hard. You have set
Hold on. Do you even know who the people that are ranked 1 and 2?
I believe it would be it's Moxley and oh god, who is number 2? I just saw it the other day. Somebody who just Wardlow. For fuck's sake! Do it! I mean, that's an easy one. Think about how insanely over Wardlow is right now. Take that rocket ship and put it on his back. This is so simple. Skylar, you have a ranking system that you have shown has made sense. You have had a sports-based presentation that has made sense. And when you don't have your top guy, your world champion faces number 2, and then or number 1, who's number 1 contender, and then you have 2s and 3s, and then you have ranking for positions. He has all of these tools. He sets them up, and he still books like a mark.
Right. I don't have the world champion facing number 5 or number 6 randomly for no reason, unless there's a special thing behind it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, literally, it's in Tony Khan's DNA. He could just do a tournament.
Yeah. It'd be so simple. It'd be so simple. Tony, this is what I don't understand. This is why I cannot watch this show, because everything that he does is so schizophrenic, and it grinds you down. And like, even just hearing of Tony Khan's booking gets me angry at this point, because we should not be able to do a better job than Tony Khan. Except we put together a show on the day of half the time, and it's still better than what Tony Khan is putting on.
Here's the real question, Sean. Is Tony Khan the worst booker in the history of wrestling?
It's Vince Russo, but he owns the company. It's Vince Russo being allowed to do everything that Vince Russo has ever wanted to do with nobody telling him no, because he's paying all the paychecks.
And with more money than what Dixie Carter and Herb Abrams has. I think actually you have made a solid point.
Yeah, it's honestly, this is like the worst case scenario for pro wrestling, to the point where I honestly think that Vince Russo himself would do a better job with AEW than Tony Khan's doing. That's saying something.
Ooh.
But CM Punk, we wish you well in your recovery.
Yes, and please get back when you can.
Please get back as soon as you humanly can. Hopefully this is going to be quick and it'll be back it all out, and then they can just be like, I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what they're going to do. I'm afraid of who it could go on. I'd like to see it go on pretty much one of 3 people. MJF, Danielson, or Samoa Joe.
Or Wardlow.
Or Wardlow, just because they've done a great job with that so far. Any of those people,
watch it be Orange Cassidy.
No, they can't possibly. They cannot possibly put the world title on him.
Okay, the more realistic option would be Kenny Omega, Adam Page, or maybe Jon Moxley again.
Or Adam Cole.
Or Adam Cole. Adam Cole.
Yeah.
Looming specter. It feels like he's primed to win it.
I know, and I don't like that. It doesn't sit well with me at all, because Adam Cole has physically, before our very eyes, degenerated from a can't miss talent to can't watch talent.
I know. Now,
but
was there something else that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on this real quickly, and then we're going to cap it off for tonight. I got word through, actually, it's Cornette's podcast that I got this from, but longtime TNA announcer Don West has brain cancer.
Oh, that's terrible.
And yeah, and he was, and I just want to talk for a moment about Don West. And he's, I think he and his wife started a GoFundMe for it. I'm going to see if I can find the link and maybe pop it into the description either of this show or the next show. Just because Don West to me was always such an interesting part of what made TNA so special for those golden years. You know, he wasn't necessarily somebody who knew everything about the business, but he made the effort to bring the energy that he needed to for the moment. He did a great job with that, learning on the fly. And he's a terrific salesman. I mean, seeing him sell the merch is absolutely fantastic. He's wonderful at that. And it was just, it was sad to hear, because I really liked Don West, and I really do like Don West. And I hope that he finds a way to recover.
I do too. And this is one of the big ones. It's lymphoma.
Yeah, which is tough. It's a tough one. But he actually that's actually not true. He had lymphoma. He beat lymphoma, and now he has brain cancer. Yeah.
Yeah, it's come back. I put the link in the YouTube chat. Do you want to know who the number 1 donor is?
Is it Jim Cornette?
Scott D'Amore.
Oh, Scott. Oh, yes, because this is what's happening. So, folks, just so you know what's going on here, Scott D'Amore has promised to match all the donations that are sent in by anybody. And then when the whole GoFundMe is finished up, then Cornette's going to match that number, and Brian Last is going to match that number. So there's a lot of people invested in this for Don. And I really, unfortunately, I do not have the financial standing to match all of your donations. That's just a fact. But I do care enough about Don West where we're going to at least give it the shouts out and give it the promotion that it deserves. So
the good thing is that they had a goal of 40,000. They reached it and passed it. It's now 61,861,
which is absolutely fantastic. But you know, folks, as well as I do, that when it comes to hospital bills and things along those lines, that there is no number that they will not increase it by in order to take everything they possibly can from you. It's just part of the business of medicine. So any contribution you can make to Don is obviously really appreciated. Not even just from me, but I'm sure from the West family. And allow me to also say, I hope you can get West done. I hope you can get West and relaxation. And I hope you can actually fight through this and power through this, Don, because we loved you for what you were in pro wrestling, and we will always have a mark in pro wrestling for people like us.
Do you want to know some of the other donators?
Please.
So Scott D'Amore had $13,474. David White, Jim Cornette, obviously, Brian Last, Cody Reynolds, Kevin Steen.
Yep.
William Regal, Mike Tenay. There's a lot of great people that are helping to this.
Yeah.
cause.
So there's a lot of guys who are coming out of the woodwork to help support Don. So hopefully we'll be able to make a difference as well, so that Don can hopefully have a full recovery. We're all rooting for him. Cancer is a son of a bitch, man. It really is.
Yep.
But
is there anything else that you want to talk about, Sean?
All I want to talk about is stay tuned, folks, for Monday. On a better note, stay tuned for Monday. We've got an exciting show coming up for you there, where everything I mentioned in the beginning of this video is going to happen on Monday. So stay tuned. It's going to be a great time. Skyler, thanks for hopping on and talking a little bit about Punk with us.
No problem. All you had to do was ask me.
That's right.
Ask me.
Except you came on, and I was like, oh, we got ourselves a caller. So we will be asking you to stay tuned for Monday. And then, of course, next week after that, we're actually going to do, let's not spoil it. You're going to have to watch the video to find out what we're going to do, not this Monday, but the Monday following, because it is really spicy, something brand new that we haven't done before. But until then, folks, thank you for watching this live stream, and we'll see you next time, right after this.